game. Have a good game.
Thank you.
First for the visiting Hoyas of Georgetown.
Step in as you
from Silver Spring, Maryland. Number 22, Robert Churchwell.
You're going to start at 2, right? Right, yeah.
And number 416 junior from Largo, Maryland. Number 52, Reid. At center, 6'10" sophomore from Jackson, Mississippi. Number 50, Othella, Harrington.
To the Rosemont Horizon outside of Chicago. 2 teams who did not gain a berth in the NCAA AA tournament last year, Georgetown and DePaul, are hot on the comeback trail. Georgetown 10-3 going against the Blue Demons of DePaul, who have won 11 and lost only 3 games. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, along with the coach, Al McGuire, who had to just go 70 miles down the pike to come to this place today. And Al, let me ask you about Georgetown, because they have won 4 in a row, 8 out of their last 9, losing only to Connecticut. How good a team do you think the Hoyas are?
I truly think, Dick, that they are a sleeping giant. There's potential here for them really to take off. They got a 10-man rotation, and the other thing is they lost 2 in overtime. So they're sitting right. Just watch out for Georgetown.
And also DePaul, because they broke a 2-game losing streak with a very impressive victory over the University of Massachusetts, ranked 6th on Tuesday. Maybe one of the biggest wins, if not the biggest win in Joey Meyer's coaching career.
If DePaul could win today, they'll be in the top 25 in the poll next week. So will Georgetown. But DePaul, what they must do, they must stop Joey Brown's penetration and get the ball in the hands of Tom Kleinschmidt.
And they got to handle that Georgetown trap, and they didn't do it against St. Louis. Let's see what happens today. We have an enthusiastic crowd on hand. Glad you could be with us. We'll be back with the opening tip-off in just a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Mercedes-Benz, where safety, reliability, and performance are never optional. The Gillette Series, Gillette, the best a man can get. And by Citibank, MasterCard, and Visa. Make sure your card says Citibank.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. All right. Nice open. Good. All right. You got officials at some point? Okay. Yes.
7?
Yeah. How many years are you going to say? 8 out of 9? Who's line up first? Okay. About 12,000 fans on here at the Rosemont Horizon, and the Georgetown Hoyas, the visiting team from the Big East. And up front for them, Don Reid, Othella, Harrington, and Robert Churchwell makes up the Hoyas front court. In the backcourt, Jacques and Joey Brown, and he is the key man, as Al McGuire mentioned, and John Thompson, who is just 6 victories away for 500 in his tremendous career at Georgetown. For the Blue Demons of DePaul, their front court, Kris Hill. The center is Michael Ravizee, a 6'8" senior, and Tom Kleinschmidt, and he is a key man for the DePaul Blue Demons. And in the backcourt, it's Belefia Parks and Brandon Cole. It's Cole and Kleinschmidt who are the 2 keys for the Blue Demons, and Joey Meyer, who told us yesterday, Al, that perhaps the victory over UMass was the 2nd biggest win next to defeating St. John's in the 2nd year when he was a coach and got him into the NCAA tournament. John Clougherty, Gary Markham, and Leroy Richardson, all from the Southeast Conference, are today's officials. Clougherty has worked 8 of the last 9 Final Fours, so he's been there.
He's been there, and they are from the Southeastern Conference, a neutral conference.
And that's a good idea.
Yes, intersectional play, you should step outside of both conferences.
DePaul in the white, controlling the opening tip. There's the big man, Ravizee. Georgetown starting off in the man-to-man defense.
It's solid man-to-man and drifting off the weak side.
And a block inside by Don Reid. And Georgetown getting the ball. Joey Brown quickly inside to Harrington. Kleinschmidt battling for the loose ball. You're going to like him. Tom Kleinschmidt, according to John Calipari, single-handedly beat UMass in their big upset this week.
Hit 3 from three-point land the last 2 minutes of the game.
Good steal by Joey Brown. So Georgetown has had 2 big stops in the opening moment.
They want to get Othella Harrington in the game early, Dick. So they'll be feeding them down low.
Highly recruited sophomore, and there's Churchwell missing from the baseline. The rebound by Kris Hill. Still scoreless here. A little over a minute going by. Kleinschmidt guarded by Reid. And giving up several inches. Hill gets free inside. And Kris Hill, who's the leading rebounder and one of 2 seniors for DePaul, gives the Blue Demons the lead.
If Hill's going to score, it's going to be within 2 feet of the rim. He doesn't shoot from outside. He's the type of garbage ball player. Teams have a nose for the ball off the glass.
Jacques misses the 3. It hits the guy wire, and it's turned over to the DePaul Blue Demons. So DePaul trying to get back after not making any tournament last year for the first time in 16 years. They were only 1 game over 500 at 16 and 15. But far improved thanks to the work of Tom Kleinschmidt, their leading scorer.
He doesn't look like a swan. He plays like a sledgehammer, but he's good.
Averaging 21 a game, just a junior. As many of the DePaul Demons, native of Chicago. Churchwell at the free throw line. And Georgetown, not known for their shooting, coming out 0 for 4 from the field.
Watch Kleinschmidt now. He keeps his dribble alive. If he sees a crack in there, he'll go right through and muscle. Nice follow through. Good basket.
Not only does he lead them in scoring, Al, but he's also their assist leader, which says a lot for his team play. Parks finds Kleinschmidt. Double team quickly. Hoyas know who to trap here.
The only thing is they got to get Cole out of the gate. Cole has to score for DePaul to win for them.
And there's Cole, and the three-point basket is good. You're right. Brandon Cole, who's averaging 16 a game. Kleinschmidt and Cole, the 1-2 punch for DePaul.
G-Town should slow their offense down if they don't have the break and try to pump the ball inside. What they can do in this game is get the Blue Demons line in big-time foul trouble.
And we have a foul away from the ball, and it's going to be against Georgetown as the Hoyas coming out ice cold. 0 for 4 from the field and trailing 7-0. And John Thompson's going to bring in a new man.
John Thompson's waiting for the first commercial timeout. I wouldn't wait.
George Butler, who comes in off the bench and is the leading scorer, checked in for the Hoyas.
John Thompson feels he goes to scoring strength, and he brings in this JUCO.
That's Butler, who's averaging 15 a game. The foul, by the way, was against Othella Harrington. Nearly 3 minutes gone by, and the Hoyas trailing the Blue Demons 7-0. Good pass inside to Hill, and he loses it out of bounds. Georgetown's defense has been good despite the fact that they're trailing 7-0.
Their defense is their offense. The thing that DePaul's doing against them is having proper spacing. The way to kill a trapping team is to have proper spacing.
Here's Butler, their leading scorer.
He goes to the basket like Rambo. Watch, see that?
He tried to force it against the double team, however.
Well, he's a scorer. I mean, he comes in with a scorer's mentality. Hey, I'm here, I'm going to Rambo it in, and that's it.
So the Hoyas have had 6 possessions and no points. And DePaul with the ball and a 7-0 lead.
Just went to a zone for the first time, DePaul, Georgetown. 2-3 matchup.
Ravizee has it knocked away. Good physical play by Joey Brown. A 3-on-1 break, and Harrington tries to stuff it.
What a beautiful touch pass by Joey Brown that time.
But Harrington couldn't convert.
They're trying to get confidence into Harrington. Othella just is not scoring. He's in a drought. Watch this touch pass off the man on the left. That's Joey. Nice little touch pass. That's a pro move, but it's hard for him to get in the NBA at 5'10". Looks more like Europe.
I don't think John Thompson was pleased with Harrington's stuff move because he's been taken out of the game, and Jacques from Senegal has come in the game. And meanwhile, Hill with the basket gives DePaul a 9-0 lead. So Harrington with an early trip to the bench, and Yaya Jah, the 6'8 freshman from Dakar in Senegal, who will play a lot more according to John Thompson, has entered the game. He's number 44.
Othella will be back in about 2 minutes. They just want to get his head straight.
Churchwell in the lane. Again, the Hoyas struggle, and on the follow-up, Robert Churchwell, so they missed 7 straight shots, some of them inside, before Churchwell converted.
Ball has to be a little more patience. Always have patience, gang, out there against zone. Man to man, you can let it rip.
And the Blue Demons are showing that patience, although we have not seen the vintage Georgetown trap yet. Here's Parks in the lane. And the offensive rebound is converted by Hill. Kris Hill, who's averaging 10 points a game, has 6 so far, an 11-2 lead for DePaul.
The Hoyas aren't boxing out. The reason you're not seeing their trap so much, Dick, is they haven't scored. Their trap really works off a made foul shot and a made basket. Then they get the run going. They smell blood like a barracuda.
Here's Churchwell missing badly on a three-point attempt.
There's
and basket hanging is Cole. Brandon Cole with his 5th point of the ball game, and DePaul surprisingly has opened up a gigantic 13-2 lead over Georgetown.
As Brown penetrated to the glass that time, Butler should have protected the backcourt. But a junior college player usually takes about 3 months before they learn the system. He's only truly a freshman as far as John Thompson's concerned inside his system. That's a walk.
Jah with a walk. Yaya Jah, who has averaged 9 minutes a game. And it's been all Blue Demons here at the Horizon.
Shouldn't have waited for the commercial timeout, in my opinion.
DePaul leading by 11. Here's one of the reasons why, Al.
It's a FedEx pass from underneath. The trick in this is when you pass it down, don't pass it to the man, pass it to the basket. Now watch. He passes it to the basket, the man comes under it. That's all she wrote. Cole zips it.
And here comes Georgetown's trap. First time we've seen it 3 quarters. And by the way, you were right. Othella Harrington sat down for a couple of minutes. He's back in there. They break it. And an easy basket by Bryant Bowden, who's the new man in for DePaul. Bowden from Canton, Ohio, a sophomore, and he's a big burly forward, and it's 15-2.
Nickname is Bo. Pretty good with a knife and fork, I think.
Georgetown has 2 points in the paint and 2 points outside the paint. That's all they got in the game. 2 points in 11 possessions for the Hoyas.
Slow, kicking in man. Harrington down low or into Reid. He wants to score.
Butler hits from the baseline. A 2-point basket for George Butler from Tyler, Texas. And according to John Thompson, best one-on-one player of the Hoyas half. Trapping Cole, and he steps on the line. So the Hoyas settling down a bit now, trapping Brandon Cole, and on the turnover, Georgetown gets the ball back.
Cole was trapped that time because he's no Magic Johnson. People don't understand your guards are bigger today and they see over the trap. But Cole couldn't see over the trap. With the hairline call on the out of bounds, let's see what happened there. So he can't see over the trap, so he's in Tap City. Yeah, close call, but I go with the zebras on it.
You always do.
No, I don't. Later on, no.
Later on, you won't.
Well, later on, I won't. Out of the gate, I figure, you know, act of contrition, that type of stuff.
And a whistle and a foul against DePaul. Peter Patton and Will Macon have checked in for the Blue Demons. Patton is a point guard, and Will Macon gives him some strength up front. There is Patton, who's a hard-nosed point guard at 6'1". And the foul was on Bowden. Going out of the game was Kevin Millen, who was in briefly. Butler is fouled. Brandon Cole committing the foul, and that's in three-point territory. So there'll be 3 free throws coming up now for George Butler, who's trying to give the Hoyas some semblance of an offense here as they come out cold.
He is the offense from the outside. A lot of times, Georgetown is like the book that Jimmy Breslin wrote, the guy that couldn't shoot straight. And one of the reasons they don't shoot that well is because their offense is so quick after they turn over from defense. They don't allow their offense to settle in and get into a groove.
You saw Marcus Singer, a freshman from Benton Harbor, Michigan, come in, replacing Brandon Cole, who's getting a bit of a lecture from Joey Meyer after committing that foul in three-point territory. First free throw for Butler, a 70% shooter from the line, is good.
And puts them back in the game. If he made that shot, it becomes a 4-point play, which is truly a mortal sin. I'm starting to use these Catholic terms today because DePaul and the Ascension Fathers, and also Georgetown is the Jesuits.
And they're in the Great Midwest Conference, where Marquette, your old school, is one of the members. So you have to watch your P's and Q's today, my friend.
Nice pressure up court off the made foul.
15-7 DePaul. They break it to Patton. Double teamed, however. Wisely dribbled out of trouble, and a reach and foul against Othella Harrington. That'll be his second foul.
John got so upset that time he lost his towel. He doesn't lose his towel often.
2 things he never loses is cool and his towel. Well, I don't know about the first part. There's the towel. So Harrington with 2 fouls. Inbounding will be Marcus Singer. DePaul leading 15-7. They've led all the way here.
See, they can feel it coming. John Thompson, like the old heavyweight champ of the world, Joe Louis, used to say, you can move around the ring as much as you want, but you can't hide.
You can run, but you can't hide, right.
But you can't hide the Georgetown pressure. Eventually it catches you.
Bryant Bowden, who came off the bench for DePaul, has his second personal foul. Just under 13 minutes remaining in the first half. It's been all the Blue Demons. They're in front 15-7. And there is Butler penetrating, and on the rebound, Reid misses. Tell you, Georgetown's getting a lot of chances inside and not converting.
Their baseline is better than DePaul's baseline. As I said earlier, I look for DePaul's baseline to foul out.
Kleinschmidt throws the ball away nearly, and Singer retrieves it. So far, Kleinschmidt has scored only 2 points. Remember, he came in averaging 21. He's got the ball now. Jacques defends it. Great bounce pass inside, and it's Will Macon, the junior from Pittsburgh, who converts.
Give the credit to Kleinschmidt there. Tommy, that's why he's leading the team in assists.
He was double-teamed against UMass, and he fired a pass to Belefia Parks, who hit a big 3-point basket to break a tie against the Minutemen this week. Here's Butler driving baseline against the double team. Not a good play, and the rebound by Marcus Singer. A 10-point lead.
You know, surprisingly, before you said that Tommy Kleinschmidt only has 2 points. Maybe the reason they're winning 17-7 is that he only has 2 points because he's being double-teamed. That's the lead.
3-2 fast break. Don Reid, who got off to a good start early, is tailed off. And the question is, if he can avoid foul trouble, he'll be a big plus for the Hoyas. And it's now a 17-9 game, but Georgetown slowly making their way back, trailing by 8. Ravizee. And the Hoyas now getting their half-court trap in order. Macon loses the ball off his foot out of bounds. And it's starting to work now for Georgetown as Jacques comes in. 6 turnovers in his first half for the Blue Demons. Okay.
Nice pickup in the towel.
Yeah, that was great.
Good pickup. Sometime we got to pick up how far Georgetown's huddle is away from the sidelines. How far his huddle is. See in the court now where the huddle is, the timeout, how far he's pulled it away from the sidelines so there's no interference with less noise, getting it that far away. You see where they are? Very seldom you see a team come out that far. I used to even come out further.
Well, the Great Midwest Conference, no stranger to basketball powers. They have 3 teams in the top 25. Marquette is undefeated in the conference at 3-0. St. Louis is 2-0, and DePaul is 2-2 in the conference. Now, Cincinnati is way back there, and UAB is there. This is a very balanced conference.
Well, let's test our audience. You tell them the second half. There are 4 players that were seniors last year that come out of, they weren't seniors, that came out of the Great Midwest that are playing today in the NBA. Now, I just don't want their names. I also want what teams they're playing for. Now, you won't get 4.
What do they win?
And I know you'll get Penny Hardaway.
What do they win?
What do they win? They win a mulligan, a punch in the arm.
Well, they may not want to get it then.
All right, there's 4 players in the NBA today from this conference that's only 3 years old. That's something to be chesty about.
Brandon Cole is back in the game for DePaul. So Patton and Cole up front with Singer, Ravizee, and Bryant Currie, a sophomore from Milwaukee.
And DePaul shows you new faces zone, a 1-3-1.
8-point lead. Jacques throws up an air ball. Beautiful save by Don Reid inside. Butler fires away. And Joey Brown keeps it alive. You think the Hoyas are firing up too quickly?
No, not against the zone, though, because they got inside rebound position with the big men. And the second thing, one of the best small rebounder in the country got the last rebound, Joey Brown. Unbelievable rebounder for his size, 5'10".
You know, Cole, defending number 4, is 6 feet tall. He's got a lot of bunch of rebounds for DePaul as well. Here's a wild shot inside by
It's no match. And they can get that inside, Dick, against the 1-3-1. So let them just pop from the outside.
Georgetown is now 3 for 16 from the field. Here's Butler, fires up a wild 3. I think they're just firing away. Cole. Ravizee trying to get position inside, and Reid trying to prevent it. Here's the 3-point shot, is missed by Singer. And here comes Joey Brown leading the way for the Hoyas, who still trail by 8, 17-9. Under 10 minutes to go here in the first half. Tipped out of bounds. It'll be DePaul's possession as Robert Churchwell gets set to come back in. Joey Meyer, who saw the big win over UMass after 2 tough home losses to Marquette and St. Louis.
I'd say without a doubt, as you said earlier, I think in his 10 years, this decade at DePaul, that was Joey Meyer's biggest win ever.
Never he beat St. John's to get into the tournament in his second year as a coach, but next to that, I think this is looms large. Ravizee couldn't convert. He got the baseline position. A 3-on-3 now for Georgetown. Brown. Rebound Singer.
Bad shot selection that time. It was 3-on-3. When they didn't have the break, they should have waited for their big men to come down.
Hoyas are firing away and misfiring. It's been stuck at 17-9 now for the last 2 minutes or so. Here's Currie in the lane, and it drops for Brian Currie, who may be the best athlete of all of the Blue Demons, a sophomore from Milwaukee. Only averaged 9 minutes and a 3-point basket by Jacques. Jacques coming off a career high of 17 points against Seton Hall this week.
Jacques can burn you. I thought Currie made the mistake. A lot of times after a guy scores the basket, they don't stretch the defense when they go down court. And Currie inside that zone should have stretched the defense, because you got to keep a hand in the face of Jacques.
Jacques committing the foul. Kevin Millen is back in the game for Georgetown as George Butler gets a breather. Patton will go out of the game, and Belefia comes back in. So it's Bowden, Currie up front. Kleinschmidt also has played the entire game, and Colin Parks the starting backcourt for DePaul and White. 19-12, a 7-point lead now for the Blue Demons. Kleinschmidt hits a 3-point basket. He's the best percentage shooter from downtown.
That was a set play. It was only a 2-point basket. His foot was on the line. And that was a set play where Cole penetrates and Tommy goes outside and spots up.
Look at his jersey. He reminds me of the old slugger Ted Kluszewski of the Cincinnati Reds in the 50s, showing the muscles with that jersey cut off the way he has it.
The haircuts from that movie Sting.
We got him broken down pretty well, don't we? Here's Churchwell. And a good feed from Joey Brown. 21-14, DePaul leading. On the turnover. And now the Hoyas are starting to capitalize on the DePaul turnovers. They're very much back in this game. Here is Millen from the corner. Good block out that time by Brian Currie. Cole penetrating. Pulls up with the basket. DePaul needed that hoop.
Well, with the ball, he's the fastest guy in the court. He's faster than Joey Brown with the ball. He might be one of the fastest in the country. Watch him next time, gang, when he's on a fast break.
Jacques misses a 3.
Bowden just pushed him out of the way. Harrington was pushing Bowden.
Georgetown has made a run here, still trailing the Blue Demons as they've had all the way.
There's a timeout on the court. There was a double foul on the last play. Georgetown's Othella Harrington, his third, and his fourth. DePaul, Bryant Bowden, his third, and his fourth. As a result of the double foul, it's a jump ball, thereby relating to the alternating possession when play resumes in Georgetown basketball. Ladies and gentlemen, to the DePaul cheerleader.
Dick Stockton and Al McGuire here at the Rosemont Horizon. DePaul has led all the way. They lead by 9. Georgetown has been ice cold from the field, yet they have climbed back after trailing by 13 points. Georgetown shooting 23%. DePaul at nearly 70%, most of them inside shots. The last whistle was the double foul on Othella Harrington and Bryant Bowden, both their 3rd foul. So Harrington on the bench with 3 personals.
On that double foul, the reason that Georgetown got the ball was the arrow was pointing their way.
Churchwell and Reid. Millen is in there along with Brown and Butler in the backcourt.
That's a tremendous break for DePaul with Harrington pick up a 3rd early foul.
Brown crashes the boards, and it's finally tipped in. Let's see who gets credit for it, as the Hoyas have come down now trailing 23-16. Don Reid now with his 2nd basket. Jerry Lyons told us that if Reid can stay out of foul trouble, he's going to be a big force and help wear down this DePaul team.
Well, that was one of his problems last year, was foul prone. He really became a player this year in Georgetown's trip to the Holy Land. They played 6 games over there. They won 4, lost 2.
And that's their record in the Big East right now. Trap on Kleinschmidt. He beats it. Misses the basket, and it's Georgetown's ball. They're trailing 23-16, making the slow but steady comeback here in this first half.
Yeah, they're taking it back in pieces. Never try to take a lead back all at once. Slowly grind it back. They were down big time early.
Hoyas were down 15-2 at one point, missed their first 7 shots of the game. And on the turnover, picked up by Belefia Parks, Ravizee, and a good stop in there by Millen. Millen prevented Ravizee from getting the layup. And the layup in the basket is good. Big play, and I'll tell you, Kris Hill, who has scored now 8 points in the ball game, has come out strong. You mentioned only inside shot.
2 feet.
Right?
I don't like to use the word, but he's a true garbage ball player. But what he does in rebounding, he gets excellent position. He doesn't get off his feet. He's something like Larry Bird, only in that area of position. No other way.
Kevin Millen, thank you for clarifying that. Millen committing the foul, and one of the emotional sparks to the team, Kris Hill, who's 4 for 4 from the field, misses the free throw. So DePaul up by 9.
Paul's back to man-to-man.
Time remaining in the first half, and they're going to call the blocking foul against Cole. Brandon Cole with his 2nd personal foul of the game. Want to remind you, coming up next, it's the second half of our basketball doubleheader. The North Carolina Tar Heels travel to New Orleans to take on the Tigers of LSU coming up next.
The guards with the Tigers are outstanding. I think one mistake North Carolina made this year when they redshirted the kid Sullivan, the senior. I think that kid Sullivan would have at least won 2 of the games of the 3 they lost.
Jacques in the game now with the ball, has his 3-point attempt blocked by Ravizee, taken down by Cole. Here's the alley-oop, and Jacques came back and anticipated it perfectly.
Dynamite D on Jacques that time. I would have kept the ball myself if I was Cole.
He giveth and he taketh away, does Jacques here. 5:15 remaining in the first half.
Well, Ravizee doesn't have that much athletic ability in the air.
Joey Brown with a runner doesn't fall. Tipped out, and here is Hill. Defenders are back. Georgetown really keeps you out of the inside part of the hoop. They block you.
And they also try to stay away from the sidelines, because that's where the Hoyas like to trap you.
Under 5 minutes remaining in the half. Cole for 3. Rebound, Don Reid. 7 rebounds for Don Reid, who came in averaging 6 on the season. Georgetown is 10-3, DePaul 11-3, and as Al mentioned at the earlier, the winner of this ball game is going to really rise in the ratings.
The winner of this ball game, in my opinion, will be in the top 25 come Monday, somewhere between 23 and 25.
Hoyas call the timeout. One of the major stories here, Othella Harrington, coming off the season's high of 21 against Seton Hall, has picked up 3 early fouls and has been no factor. Georgetown still struggling from the field, but they're getting a lot of shots. Hill has looked good for DePaul, perfect from the field. And the Hoyas, after going scoreless for a little more than 4 minutes, have climbed back, but they still trail by 9.
I would try to get Spencer out of the gate, Dick.
Well, he's just came into the game, and Spencer is a man who John Thompson told both of us before the game that Spencer and Jacques are going to have to be more active if the Hoyas are going to achieve what you think that they can become.
They can become a giant. They can be a sleeping giant. There's rotation here. The only problem they have is that Othella is not a Patrick Ewing, a Mourning, or a Montembeault. He's more of a 4 than he is a 5.
Butler missed 2 shots in that sequence, and so DePaul can raise their lead to more than double figures now if they can get a basket. Peter Patton has come in the game now as the point guard. He has alternated with Belefia. They have Parks and Patton in there. Hill is setting a high pick. Kleinschmidt.
You can see Tommy K go through his legs that time.
It's a jungle out there against the great defensive arms and legs of Georgetown. Hill with a fall away. Coming out of the pack is Joey Brown. So Dwayne Spencer seeing action, and on the break, one of the few we've seen, Reid converts, and he now has 8 points in the game.
Nice head fake by Brown that time. He faked the ball going to Butler and fed it to the right side to Reid. Nice
Kleinschmidt with a great pass to Hill. Tom Kleinschmidt has only 4 points, but he has fed Hill, who has double figures, and it's now a 27-18 game.
Interior passing is best done through the bounce pass.
On the turnover, Patton fouled by Joey Brown as Patton goes into the stanchion, maybe shaken up a bit.
He's a great athlete. Plays 3 sports at the high school, at high school in Chicago. Watch this big A with an old-fashioned bounce pass in the interior. Watch the bounce pass. There she goes. And you bounce it 2/3 of the way over, so it's coming up 1/3 of the way. The mistake the fellow that's shooting now made in the last play, Patton, he broad jumped rather than high jump. He should have taken one more power dribble and high jump. When you broad jump, you lower.
Well, Tom Kleinschmidt, who is from Chicago, has his parents right in the middle.
Yeah, he was a great player at the high school, Weber High School. That's where Mike Krzyzewski was the high scorer. But then Tom broke Mike Krzyzewski's record. And I think one of the assist men there in those days was a great ball player named Ed Janka.
It is a blocking foul. Joey Brown shows no fear, and now they call traveling called against Brown. Coming back in the game is Chris Hill after a short respite. Hill has 10 points to lead DePaul, and Michael Ravizee goes to the sideline. Will Macon in the lineup with Kleinschmidt, Hill, Patton, and Park. 29-18. Each team has 16 fouls, so the next foul will put each team into the 1-and-1.
Joey Myers had the luxury of handling his bench perfectly so far, mainly because of the lead and because of the foul trouble with Harrington.
Lead was 10. Georgetown made a rally, but DePaul has kept them at bay. Here's Hill, and he's fouled inside. 4 Georgetown players around Chris Hill, who certainly has been the offensive spark for DePaul so far today.
A career game. This is a career game for Hill. He doesn't know. They talk about those zones or those white snow or condors above the trees. He's just way out there. Hey, the last shot, if you'll notice, you'll take another one later. This kid Park, the point guard, he has a problem a lot of small guys have. He shoots from his palm. You got to shoot from your fingers. And that starts a lot of times with ball players going to the blacktop, the playground, too early in life. They can't reach the basket, so they throw rather than shoot. So if I had any advice to give to Palm, the kid out of the junior college, is, Parks, I mean, is to get the ball off his palm and onto his fingers.
That's called touch. 12 points for Hill, who also has 4 rebounds. He has been the spark plug for the Blue Demons, who are up again by 12. Their biggest lead early in the game, 13. So they have withstood one Georgetown flurry here in the first half.
Be patient. I try to get the ball down low. Need a basket here this time.
1:45 to go, and Brown making the rebound. Georgetown has had their share, but they have thrown up a lot of wild shots in this half. Brown is 0 for 4. Patton misses a 3. No, it goes.
Oh.
He doesn't believe it.
You made a mistake, Dick.
I think they'll credit him anyway, don't you, Al? Biggest lead of the game for DePaul.
In comes the crowd.
Inside to Reid. Watch Patton's reaction to seeing that three-point basket finally drop.
Well, it started to do a victory lap. He thought it was out, then in, then joy.
It is 1-1 now for both teams, as Reid will go to the line following Peter Patton's foul. And Don Reid, who is a 74% free throw shooter, 33-18, DePaul. Blue Demons won 9 in a row, had won 10 of 11 games before losing to Marquette and St. Louis at home, and then the victory over UMass, and they've kept it going here against the Hoyas in the first half.
It's important for them to make that foul shot because they put the pressure up court. They missed, they can't put the pressure up court. Both teams are in a 1-1.
Still 15-point lead, and a wild throw. And they're going to call Joey Brown with an elbow.
Tickle foul.
That's a second.
That's like in the second, the zones in football. Both are pushing and angling. Watch them coming down here. It's a foot race.
I tell you what, I think Parks had as much to do
John
with it.
is acting up.
Technical foul called against
He's out of the game, I believe.
Thompson.
Hey, you can't stop that freight train. You're too small. You need more than one person. Settle down, John. Settle down, John. Settle down, John. He bumped the referee early, and once you bump a referee, that's curtain. That's all she wrote. 2
technical fouls, and John Thompson is out of here.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, he didn't get it. Oh, he's not done yet.
Hey, you need bigger guys around you, John. These guys are like deck chairs in the Queen Mary. You blow them off.
He has no beef with John Clockerty, who's walking with him.
Very seldom. I know John Thompson for a long, long time. And very, very rarely. This is something that doesn't happen with the man. It could be, as a lot of things on his mind. The call was a feather touch. I called it early. They're elbowing each other.
Yeah, but I think Parks got his hand on Brown just as much as Brown elbowed him.
Yeah, but it was a multiple. This wasn't the only play. This started earlier in the game. Remember I told you earlier, Dick, he lost his towel? John Thompson doesn't lose his towel. It was overcalled that he jumped. So he wasn't upset.
This was a culmination.
This is a culmination. And I also think that John Thompson has a lot in his mind with this BAC operation and so forth. I really do.
It was Gary Markham. That was the official who made the call. And so Mike Riley will assume the reins as the head coach right now, with John Thompson having been ejected with less than a minute to go in the first half with 2 technical fouls. He bumped the official. Well, here is Parks.
Yeah, if he makes the first one, he'll get a second. Then they get 2 more. Sorry, he misses the first. Now, they shouldn't let him up there to take these 2. No, someone else should come up. There should be TK. All right, here it comes.
So Mike Riley, along with Craig Escherick.
All right. All right.
There's Riley, who tried to stop Thompson from getting closer to the official. They're shooting 4 technical free throws right now.
All right, that's the first set. Now 2.
Already DePaul has missed 2 of these attempts. Now it's a 17-point lead as Kleinschmidt converts again. Under 1 minute remaining in the first half.
And the ball.
And the ball.
Hoyas were very fortunate. They only hit 3 out of the 6. Park never got a second shot because it was a 1-on-1. Then it was 2 technical fouls, which is 4 shots. So they only lost 3 points. Now, it's all according to what's scored now, which would also mean another point or 2 or 3.
Georgetown will get the ball back. 24 seconds on the shot clock remaining. There you see the game clock. Escherick and Mike Riley are now running the Hoyas 35-18.
You'll now see, Dick, a quicker whistle. The referees cannot allow this thing to have any type of friction. You'll also see, now stay with us, because this will be a dynamite game. In the second half, you'll see Georgetown come out here like Hemingway in a bullfighter. Mark my words, Georgetown is going to make a run at them, even though they're 17 down now and maybe 19 down if TK can hit these 2.
And for the ball, 55, Michael Ravizee replaces
Ravizee comes in for Hill. Hill has done a great job for DePaul today, having scored 12 points. So here is Kleinschmidt. DePaul is 5 for 10 from the free throw line, and Kleinschmidt with a jump shot as a free throw shooter. That's what he's comfortable doing, apparently, Al.
Yep. Well, it gets you relaxed and gets you in the groove.
He makes them both.
He likes to talk to himself. His dad likes it. His mother likes it a little more. She's applauding. Now, the refs have to take control here. The refs have to talk to the coaches. Very, very, very important.
DePaul is on a 12-0 run, and we have an elbow foul on Dwayne Spencer. So you're exactly right, Al. They're looking for everything now.
A fast whistle is a high school whistle. A slow whistle is a pro whistle.
Macon misses the free throw. He is a 65% shooter. Watch number 40, Dwayne Spencer. There's the elbow on Macon inside, and Macon makes 1 out of 2. But you know, I agree with you. I'm anxious to see how the Hoyas come out in the second half.
Well, Riley's been with John for the last 11, 12 years as an assistant coach, and he used to be a principal at Gonzaga High School in Washington, D.C.
It's a 20-point lead for DePaul. Their 13-0 run here as Georgetown playing for the final shot of the first half.
They'll go at 6. Go.
Brown in the lane, and it's blocked by Park. 2.5 seconds remain, and it is still Georgetown's ball. Joey Meyer has to be pleased with the fact that DePaul, after the big start, withstood a big flurry by Georgetown, and that'll do it for the first half. And that's the end of the first half, with DePaul leading by 20. We'll return to the Rosemont Horizon after this message. DePaul leading Georgetown 38-18 at halftime, and the big story, John Thompson, with less than a minute to go in the first half, was ejected after receiving 2 technical fouls, vehemently going after an official after an elbowing foul against Joey Brown. And CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
You can appreciate their side-by-side picture. Our fourth inductee is former gymnast Lynn Bowden, a 1976 DePaul graduate. Our fifth inductee is basketball player from Godfather, Joe Bonsetto, a 1978 DePaul graduate. And our last inductee is basketball player Dave Currie, a 1978 DePaul graduate. From free throw line to free throw line, let's have a final round of applause for all the DePaul University Hall of Fame inductees who will be inducted at today's ceremony following the game. Come on, let's really hear it for them. Thank you, inductees. give them a nice round of applause for the South Shore Drills team.
CBS Sports coverage of Road to the Final Four is sponsored by new Fisher Favorites Tropical Fruit and Nut Mix. It's Fisher flavor or it's just plain nuts. KFC. Try the Colonel's new rotisserie gold chicken. At KFC, we do chicken right. And by UPS, the official package delivery company of the NFL.
DePaul dominated early and late in the first half and have a 20-point lead, but a sidebar story is John Thompson's ejection. Not the first time he's been thrown out of a game, as he vehemently went after an official, very angry over an elbowing call, and he was thrown out with less than a minute to go in the first half. And there was his big burst to Gary Markham. Now, Al, you think that there may be a lot of other things preying on the mind of John Thompson here?
Well, it's very hard for a coach. I think the BAC thing's on his mind. I don't want to get into that thing right now. But what happened here with John Thompson is that the call was made. He stepped on the court. They gave him a technical. Then when he bumped the official, they gave him another technical foul. 2 technical fouls, you're out of the game. Now, I don't know if there's a rule in the Big East or anywhere like do with a ball player. Now, a ball player gets thrown out of a game, he has to miss the next game. But I don't think that has to do with coaches. But I do believe that early in the game, John couldn't get it going. I think he got frustrated with Harrington picking up 3 personal fouls early.
You thought that the Hoyas would come out steaming here in the second half.
The second half, I believe, first of all, the Zebras, the refs, will blow a fast whistle, but you're going to watch the Hoyas. They will be dynamite on D. They'll be all over the place, throwing their bodies all over the place. I think they're going to make a run and be back in the game if they make a run early, which has to be right now.
John Thompson has been ejected 3 times in his head coaching career. DePaul with the ball here starting the second half. They had a 15-2 lead in the first 6 minutes of the first half and outscored Georgetown 13-0 in the last 3 minutes of the half. In between, the Hoyas made a run, but it was blunted by the Blue Demons. Kleinschmidt going baseline, and it's out of bounds with 5 seconds on the shot clock, still controlled by DePaul.
And DePaul's in the 2-3 zone to look for a shot from the outside. I look for Cole to throw it in and be spotted up and shoot from the outside for 3 points.
We had a kicking violation, forcing the ball to go out of bounds, so a new clock for the Blue Demons. Georgetown shot 22% from the field. DePaul 61%. A big gap in the shooting area.
Nice save that time.
Here's Cole, long range, rebound, Churchwell, and it's knocked out of bounds. It'll be Hoya's ball. Big story, Othella Harrington did not score in the first half. He had 3 personal fouls and no factor. The impressive sophomore from Jackson, Mississippi. He starts the second half along with Reid, Butler, Brown, and Churchwell.
They'll try to get the ball into him immediately to give him confidence. There it is into him. He muscles in.
And Harrington is fouled and will go to the line. You saw Mike Riley and Craig Esherick are the 2 assistants who now will be running the Hoyas.
They have to get him out of the gate, or we call off the blocks. Any JV coach would have known they're going to feed Harrington down low. Look for the fouls, because you know the refs are going to be blowing extremely quick whistles. They can't let this game get out of hand with the ball player. The game will only get out of hand with Coach John and the 3 Zebras.
That's what Harrington has done so far, coming off the season's high 21 points and 8 rebounds against Seton Hall. He's an outstanding free throw shooter, the best on the Hoyas at 80%. He misses 1 out of 2, but the rebound saved by Churchwell. Here's Butler for 3. Reid. You know, Georgetown had 10 offensive rebounds in the first half and connected on only 2, so they're starting out the same way. Into Reid.
He's just going to muscle it up if he can.
And an offensive foul called against Reid, and that'll be his first foul.
Reid put his shoulder in. Here comes the pressure up court.
And inbounding will be Kris Hill, guarded by Reid. Hill, of course, not to be underestimated, is the offensive hero with 12 points and 5 rebounds in the first half for DePaul.
Greatest first half he's played in his history.
Kleinschmidt inside, double teamed, and we're going to have a jump ball. Possession arrow will favor Georgetown. Jacques, who scored 3 points on a 3-point field goal, has replaced Robert Churchwell. There you see Georgetown with 12 offensive rebounds and only 4 second chance points. That's not going to get it done. $19-point lead for DePaul. They've led all the way.
Jacques has to get a 3-pointer from downtown. Surprisingly, the 2 coaches that are running it now, they're sitting in the middle of the bench, and they're not taking John Thompson's seat at the end of the bench. That's kind of, I don't know if that's symbolic or kind of strange. They both sit in the middle of the bench.
You're not going to see them get up much. Very cool customers there. Michael Ravizee committed the foul, his second for DePaul. And now we have another foul, this one on Belefia Park, so 2 quick personals. furrows the brow of Joey Brown.
Don't make any difference. Both teams will at least have 10 personal fouls. They'll be in the super bonus because those refs will just keep blowing those whistles.
Possession arrow on the tie-up will favor the Blue Demons, and we will have a timeout call. Early here in the second half, timeout called by the Blue Demons, 38-19 DePaul in front. Only 1 point has been scored in nearly 2 minutes of the second half. DePaul at 38-18 at halftime, and the Blue Demons will inbound the ball. Again, I want to remind you that DePaul, with an 11-3 record, part of a very strong Great Midwest team, and they beat the pressure. They get the ball in, and here's Kleinschmidt with a touch pass to Ravizee. What a play by Kleinschmidt.
Unbelievable. And Ravizee showed me some athletic ability to get off his feet and tomahawked it.
Kleinschmidt has 5 assists in the game. We told you earlier he's their leading scorer and was a one-man gang against the Minutemen of Massachusetts this week when DePaul made the big upset. Inside. Harrington misses. He has struggled today, picked up a lot of early fouls, got out of rhythm. Kleinschmidt misses and Reid gets the rebound. So an end-to-end game now early in the second half. 21-point lead, biggest of the ball game right now for DePaul. Butler, the leading scorer for the Hoyas, with a nifty reverse layup.
Nice. Used the backboard and the rim that time to protect the shot. Quieted down the audience, the crowd.
Interesting that the Hoyas decided not to trap after that made basket. Inside, Kleinschmidt. Kleinschmidt now with 10 points, so he's picking up in the scoring department.
Georgetown's missing their leader, and their leader is truly John Thompson.
Brown works his way in. Ravizee banged by 3 Hoyas. That's interesting. You think they'd call it close. They didn't that instant.
I thought they should have called elbows then.
Cole with a no-look pass nearly surprised Hill with it.
Hill doesn't have the greatest hands in the world, but today he does.
And let's watch Ravizee as he went against 3 Hoyas.
He's trying to shake off, but you got to keep those elbows on. Now watch the last swing. This is the one I thought should have been called right there. So it's right about where that elbow is the 2 eyes and nose of Joey Brown.
Jacques with his second personal foul. And Morgan has come in for Georgetown, replacing Brown. Joey Brown is 0 for 6 from the field today. He has not been the all-do-everything that the Hoyas had expected. First Hoya ever to score 1,000 points, get 400 rebounds, 200 steals, and 500 assists, but not today as Churchwell comes back in.
That last call was a 5 count. Joey was questioning it.
Morgan had a very brief entry. No time ticked off. So Morgan is out, Churchwell in. Here's Reid. Reid has been a big man today with 6 points. Good shooting and the top rebounder with 9 for the Hoyas.
Butler has to break out. Here he goes.
Whistle before the basket. And the foul is against Georgetown, an offensive foul, and it looks like that time they called Ravizee was hit, and Othella Harrington has picked up his 4th foul as he took the brunt of an Othella Harrington elbow.
Well, they're playing physical out there. You got to remember, we haven't played 4 minutes yet, and each team have 3 personal fouls. There's the elbow.
The Harrington has 4 fouls, no factor today with only 1 point in the game. Picked up 3 early in the first half. 42-21. DePaul has doubled the Hoyas' output.
TK should get a shot from outside.
Cole
Nice.
with a great spin move around Churchwell. Short with it, but there's Hill. Kris Hill with 14 points.
Kris, may you never wake up. Unbelievable game he's having.
6
Great.
of 7 from the field for Kris Hill. A senior from Oak Park, Illinois. Only 2 seniors on the DePaul squad, 2 on the Hoyas as well. Butler travels after losing his dribble. There's Ravizee, who is elbowed in the head. Kevin Millen is coming back in the game for Georgetown. And he will be joined by Joey Brown as well.
That shot to the head hit the contact to the corner of the eye.
Harrington sits down. Been a long afternoon for the 6'10 sophomore. Hoyas have turned it over 13 times in this game. Shooting only 22%, and now an offensive foul the other way against DePaul.
Yeah, our man Hill committed to the air too soon. Good call by the refs.
3 on Hill. Catching up on other scores, GW leading UMass 44-35. UMass fell victim to DePaul last Tuesday, and Purdue, after beating Indiana, ahead of Ohio State.
Wow, there's a score. Louisville down. I thought Louisville was the sleeper of the year maybe this year, the talent.
Nearly 5 minutes elapsed in the second half. Jacques, nowhere to go. Millen. DePaul playing a very tight perimeter defense right now. Reid. Don Reid. Where would they be without Don Reid? 8 points. Leading scorer for Georgetown has 8 points. Hoyas with the half-court trap. It's beaten, and Hill hits the deck as he is fouled hard under the basket. And that'll be against Millen, his 2nd personal.
They beat the trap that time. Fed to the strong side of the court. If he put that ball down and powered up, he would have been able to dunk it. But I guarantee Hill has a beautiful smile on his face. I watched him in practice yesterday. He constantly smiles, tucking his shirt in.
He's the emotional figure on this DePaul team. Leading rebounder.
What's his foul shooting percentage?
58%, Al.
Yeah.
But you know what? On a given day, right?
On today.
He is 3 for 4 today. Now make it 4 for 5. 23-point lead for DePaul. Georgetown has never had the lead today. And their coach was ejected with 2 technical fouls prior to the end of the first half. John Thompson. Here's the 3-point miss by Jacques. Churchwell had a piece of it, and the foul will be against Georgetown as the Hoyas just can't get out of first gear today. Near the conclusion of today's game, Al and I will select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet donates a $1,000 scholarship to the general scholarship fund of each school.
They're going over the top of the pressure and scoring at the far end.
Cole should have passed off to Kleinschmidt.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, or passed off the glass to him.
Here's a three. Missed by Millen. And the rebound by Hill. Georgetown, 1 of 11 from three-point territory. You look at their turnovers, bad shooting, especially from the perimeter. Now you know why they're down by 23. Bowden. Ill-advised shot. Rebound, Jacques.
That shot will be talked about at practice tomorrow.
And the drive and the basket by Joey Brown. That's his first basket of the ball game. 1 for 8 from the field. The Hoyas started out ice cold here at the Horizon, missing their first 7 shots, and they never really got in sync. But there's plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I thought that Georgetown had come out more emotional. But every time they get moving, the whistles are blown because, as I said earlier a couple of times, the refs are afraid to let this go out of hand.
Cole for 3. Bowden and Churchwell for Reid fighting for it. You know, they're not calling this as close as I thought they would in the second half.
Well, not underneath. There's so many bodies flying out of there.
Into the game is Brian Currie. And checking in is Butler for Georgetown.
You know, John Clarkity threw John Thompson out, but John Thompson was trying to get at Gary Markham. He was the referee, the guy from Bowling Green, and he was trying to get to him. And on the call between Brown going down court, the elbow, and then Cole.
Good thing Mike Riley, the assistant coach, got in the way. Otherwise, Thompson might have gotten to him.
Well, Mike Riley wasn't much in the way. He's a little guy.
Well, a screen is a screen.
That's right.
Here's Joey Brown, missing. Short with the 3. Gets his own rebound. Charges inside. That's the Hoyas style. They take wild shots. Kleinschmidt the other way. Stuffed in by Brian Currie on the follow-up.
He's the best athlete, they say, in the team. He's out of my city, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Went to King High School. I thought Kleinschmidt put a nice head fake on right there. Fake behind the back pass. Can miss the shot. And in comes DePaul's best athlete. Bang.
Don Reid committing his 3rd personal foul. And Currie will go to the line. Eric Micoud makes his first appearance. He's averaged 11 minutes, the sophomore from Washington. Interestingly enough, as Joey Brown goes to the bench, Georgetown has only 1 true native Washington player, and that is Micoud came in the game. Meanwhile, DePaul has plenty from the Chicago area.
And let's try and see if Micoud can hit from the outside.
48-25. DePaul with a big lead with nearly 12 minutes remaining. Dick Stockton and Al McGuire here in what has been a DePaul show from the start. Driving baseline is Churchwell, and the Blue Demons committing the foul. Foul is against Currie. Mike Riley along with Craig Esheritt. And there is Jacques coming in for Georgetown, but paint this game blue. Blue Demons in this one. Othella Harrington, no factor today as DePaul has outshot Georgetown by a wide margin. Chris Hill has been the offensive gun for the Blue Demons, and John Thompson was ejected with nearly 52 seconds left in the first half. He bumped an official and received 2 technical fouls after complaining about an elbowing and was thrown out of the ball game with the 2 techs. And maybe that's one of the reasons why Georgetown hasn't come back in a big way in the second half.
Oh, he's their leader, but they got to start hitting some from out in cannon range, 3-point land.
That's Churchwell inside. Here comes the trap at midcourt.
Give Joey Meyer some credit for handling this trap. They worked on it quite a lot yesterday as we watched practice.
I think every minute of practice they worked on it, Al.
Yeah, that's how come they lost to St. Louis earlier in the year. They couldn't handle the trap. They didn't look down court.
Marcus Singer. Rebound, Currie. I like the way that Milwaukee, he's probably playing because he knows you're here today and wants to play well in front of another Milwaukee.
Well, Tom Kleinschmidt kept the ball alive that time, and Currie had all openness underneath.
Here is Butler hitting the 3. So Butler now with his first 3-point basket now has 10 points and becomes the Georgetown leader. He is the season scoring leader as well for the Hoyas.
That should start them.
Off of Bowden, off his hands, and here comes Georgetown on the turnover. Knocked away out of bounds. It's still Hoyas' ball. We want to correct an earlier score that showed UMass trailing George Washington. UMass defeated George Washington 56-55, and that is the official final score.
John Calipari, one of the most sought-after coaches in the country. Any job that opens up pops his name. But I don't think he's leaving because he has a great team coming back next year, and that freshman they got is outstanding.
Yep. Yep. 3-point shot missed outside by Butler. You know, this, if DePaul can go on and win this game, that would mark 2 very impressive wins against Eastern teams, UMass and Georgetown, in the same week.
Well,
and, you know, they've got a tough schedule coming up.
Oh, they have a very tough schedule coming up. They got to go down to UAB, and they got to go down to Cincinnati. And the other thing, Joey's on the bubble with his job a little bit here. You know, the Meyer family's been with DePaul for about 52 years, 42 with Ray and 10 with Joey. And by the way, Ray Meyer's doing the radio next to us, and he had his 80th birthday last month.
He does not look 80.
No, hey, he pumps the bike every morning for about 15 miles, in-house type of bike, and he's out raising money for the Concentric Fathers every evening.
Keeps him young. Hitting from the corner, Churchwell, 50-32, an 18-point game, and now looking for help is Currie.
But if they can score, then they become good because they can turn you over.
Patton, good pass to Singer with a better pass inside to Bowden. Bryant Bowden. Great quick passing broke that trap for DePaul.
They're releasing into the middle, taking the pressure off, and hitting the man free underneath every time down. Well preparation for Georgetown's pressure, which is not easy to face because they give you so many different faces of it.
Blue Demons by 20. Missing a 3 was Joey Brown. He really has not been able to find the range from the field today. 1 for 10 from the field for Joey Brown, and Patton committing the foul. That's 2 on Currie. He gets a free ticket.
He's a Hall of Famer. If you don't like Ray Meyer, there's something wrong with you.
I like him.
Yep. Oh, no, I'm not saying you personally.
I was feeling bad now for a while.
Ray doesn't know how to say no. Any speaking engagement wanted in the Windy City or the City of Shoulders, and just call Ray. He'll be there. If it's for any type of charity.
Dwayne Spencer hits the front end of the 1-and-1. Spencer, who was really not ready to start the year, has sprained ankle on both sides, has limited his time, and has not been able to get in the rotation. He is a sophomore from New Orleans at 6'10", and I think before it's all over, Spencer will be a factor this
Oh,
year.
he's a player. There's no doubt he's a player, but while he was healing, Reid came out of the gate big time.
Good tip away by Brown, and they're going to call Joey Brown with the personal foul.
Joey's trying too hard. I mean, there's no player like him in Georgetown as far as I'm concerned. If I had to pick one player from Georgetown to start a program with, it would be Joey Brown.
Lamont Morgan and Arnett Jordan both in the lineup now for Georgetown, and on the free throw line will be Brandon Cole. Cole came in the game averaging 16 points a game. So far today he has 7 as he makes the first free throw.
Butler and Churchwell returned.
Churchwell and Butler back in for the Hoyas. (54-34), DePaul in front. They have led from the opening whistle. Reverse layup and a fine play by Robert Churchwell, who has 10 points now, matching his season's average. 54-36, but the Hoyas can't bunch enough points together to make a run in this game. Ravizee comes right back, and isn't going to get it done.
No, what's happening, nice hustle by Patton underneath. There he is again, staying with it. And here comes the high school three-letter man. Football, baseball, and basketball.
He's one of the top Catholic League players, was a Catholic League all-city quarterback.
Supposedly IU wanted him for football.
On the turnover, it'll be Georgetown's possession. Here's Kleinschmidt, who has 10 points in the game, but he has made his mark with his ability to pass off and set up others for hoops today. 5 assists for Kleinschmidt.
1-1-3, the first pass, they'll double over. Watch, wherever the pass goes, watch where the pass goes now. They flatten out.
And an errant throw by Churchwell over the head of Reid. Now Patton controlling.
Can't do it.
Ravizee. Georgetown's half-court defense has collapsed today.
Collapse. They got to go strictly man-to-man. Joey Meyer has solved the riddle that the Big East coaches of the Big East cannot solve. Give Joey Meyer the credit.
CBS Sports coverage of NCAA basketball will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
Three-pointer. Count it down for the ball. In the air. It'll count. Blocked by the backboard. Okay.
CBS Sports coverage of the road to the Final Four is sponsored by Geo, inviting you to get to know the new Geo Prism, available only at your Chevrolet Geo dealers. Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light.
Dick Stockton and Al McGuire here at the Rosemont Horizon. DePaul opened up a 15-2 lead today, and then Georgetown came back, narrowed the margin to 7, and then a 13-0 run to end the half, and DePaul has maintained the big edge. They're up 58-36 with 8 minutes remaining in the game.
DePaul's extending their defense inside the zone, not to give you the 3, they'll give you the 2.
Someone got a piece of Jacques' shot, and I think it was Hill. Patton brings it up for DePaul. Blue Demons are playing almost a textbook game today, Al. Good passing, Patton hitting for 3.
Now, DePaul's good, but they're not this good.
That's not for me to say.
Let's be realistic.
Here is Butler. Reid, offensive rebound. One of the few they've been able to convert. The basket is good, and a foul as well.
Yeah, it was fouled by Cole, I think, on the inside. They could have called it either way. They could have called Reid with a clear out with his inside arm.
Reid with 10 points and 11 rebounds has been a beacon in the night for the Georgetown Hoyas today, with Othella Harrington with only 1 point and 4 fouls. Not a factor from the start of this game. Harrington comes back in. And here is Reid trying to complete a 3-point play. You saw Patton go out, replaced by Parks. He missed the free throw. 61-38.
What we call now is milking. What they try to do is milk the clock. They're not looking to get under 10 seconds, but take enough 15, 20 seconds off each time down. You got a 20-point lead. Just milk it. It's not a delay. It's not a freeze.
Good pass, Kleinschmidt to Ravizee, and he is hit inside by Reid, and that'll be 4 on Reid. Well, Al, we have a very crack research staff. I don't know if you know this, but our people in the truck are always perfect. You mentioned there were 4 players from last year in the Great Midwest Conference who are playing in the NBA. Our crack research staff says there are only 3, Al. I can't understand it.
That's
they say
Nick,
yeah, Van Exel, Hardaway, and Blount. What do you have to say about that?
I'd like to first be able to punch everybody in the arm. The 4th guy happens to be, gang, I'll give you a hint. He was out of UAB. That's down with Gene Bartow. There definitely is a number 4. You know how 4 goes? 4 goes like that. And it happens to be, I'll give you another hint, he's playing with the Timberwolves. And lastly, the name of the great man is Stanley Jackson. Now, who's Stanley Jackson? I don't know.
No, but I don't understand. Our crack research staff said you were wrong, and you've come up with 4. What do you think we should do?
We should seal the crack.
It's done. I tell you what, it's a commentary on this conference, and you know, Al, there are a lot of people that think that as many as 5 teams could get into the NCAA tournament from the Great Midwest Conference. Is that too many?
Mike Slive, their commissioner, does a great job, but they don't have the political power to get 5 in. They're not the Big Ten, the ACC, the Big East, the Southeastern. Those 4 conferences will put 1/3 of the teams in the NCAA, approximately 22. The Great Midwest will be fortunate if 3 go. If 2 go, maybe that's what they deserve. It's early in the season yet, so they got to start playing each other and so forth. And I think that Cincinnati Bearcats will start making a strong move. Can St. Louis hang on to being undefeated? It'll be interesting. They got a tremendous challenge up there at Marquette today. They're playing in Milwaukee, and Kevin is a good coach up there. We'll see what happens in that particular game.
Fouling out was Reid with 10 points, 12 rebounds, 7 of them off the offensive glass. Only problem for Georgetown today, they couldn't convert their offensive rebounds. So Reid, who has done a terrific job as the power forward, has fouled out. Harrington not a factor today, so the big men for the Hoyas invisible.
Yeah. Well, our shooter here used to be quite heavy. And about 2 years ago, he took a pledge. He got away from the burger chefs and so on and so forth, went on to the salads, went on to the non-fat food. So I tipped my hat to him. I really tipped my hat to the guy. The guy has got himself in a nice, solid position.
Be on the Food Network next, Al?
No, I don't do that for long. Yeah, you know, if you're going to pay me something, you got to pay me so much money so I can't front for you. You know, I can't be reached. I'm Mars. You can't reach Mars.
Driving the line. And a basket by Lamont Morgan, senior from Washington, D.C.'s Gonzaga High School. Charlie Spoonhour has done a great job. Marquette leading St. Louis 16-0. The Billikens are 14-0. They were a power, remember, long time ago with Easy Ed McCauley.
No, not 16-0, Dick, was it?
16-10. 16-10 was the score. But they're undefeated.
Yeah, I was wrong. Excuse me, Dick. Dick was right in the money again.
No.
I wish he'd be wrong now and then. They're 14-0 with games.
Here's a 3-1 break. Kleinschmidt converts. But you had the right answer. You had the 4 players that have done the NBA from the Great Midwest Conference, and that'll go down in history that you got that today. 66-40. It matches the biggest lead of the ball game. Georgetown unraveled, and their leader, and you can talk about the faces change, but it's still the system. John Thompson's their leader, and he was out of there before the half was over.
John Thompson is Georgetown basketball. Everything else changes. John Thompson is the key. What they should do here is call off their double team. It's not working. When it's not working, board it up. Just play strictly man-to-man.
Joey Brown. Basket
what a shot.
and a foul. Well, that's going to be some kind of consolation for Joey Brown, who has had a tough day shooting-wise today. He is 2 for 11 from the field.
The reason it was such a great shot, Dick, he didn't play the glass. He didn't play the window. Watch this. This is a tough shot with your body going the other way and play all rim and net.
Cole, Kleinschmidt, and Ravizee leave the game for DePaul. Kleinschmidt with 12, Ravizee with 9, and Cole with 9, but they all were active today, and a big win for the Blue Demons, who will make it 2 in a row. And now, coming back after those 2 home losses to Marquette and St. Louis.
I wouldn't make too much of a move, Joe. It's a little bit too early with 3-point plays.
Micoud has it batted away by Patton. And the follow-up by Marcus Singer.
They can do no wrong today. Georgetown's playing its worst game for the year, and DePaul's playing its best.
After coming off a great game against the University of Massachusetts.
And plus, Georgetown has 4 wins in a row coming in here.
Micoud misses from outside, 2 for 19 from 3-point range. Also telling the tale for the Hoyas' problems today.
Stay man-to-man aggressive. Don't double team. They got it solved. They solved the enigma.
Bowden with a turnaround. And Spencer barely controlled it.
Down to 4 minutes.
Hoyas with only 42 points. Have not been able to get up to the 30% mark shooting-wise today. Spencer from the baseline, air ball. Butler. And Jacques got the rebound and was fouled. Want to remind you that later today, it's Olympic Winterfest, countdown to Lillehammer. With the Olympics less than a month away, we'll take a look at the Women's Alpine World Cup from Cortina, Italy, the European Figure Skating Championships, and a freestyle skiing report. That's all later today right here on CBS. Bowden with his 4th personal foul, and here is Jacques.
Yeah. Sounds like a Miami Beach rumba.
He had 10 rebounds against Morgan State. He's a raw talent, but he's going to be a shot blocker. You know, they bring these young players, big players in, and, you know, they spend the summers working out at Georgetown with the likes of Patrick Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, and that seems to help the big men advance.
Yeah, but it's unfair to rate Harrington with those 3 guys. They were born great, those 3.
Coming up next, the second half of our basketball doubleheader, the Tar Heels of North Carolina, who lost to Virginia this week, travel to New Orleans. They go against LSU. What about Eric Montross?
Oh, Marty Blake made a statement that he wasn't as good as people think.
Dean Smith didn't like that.
Oh, well, Dean Smith, it's a family there. And obviously, you know, you can't put extra rouge on, let your fingernails grow. And I admire Dean Smith. But I like Marty Blake, too. These are both great thoroughbred guys, but Dean Smith says no. Eric Montross is absolutely one of the greatest ball players that he's ever coached. And I like Eric. I did a show on him when he was in high school in Indianapolis. That's when he didn't know where he was going to, either Michigan, Indiana, or North Carolina. I personally think one of the reasons he went to North Carolina is that he couldn't make up his mind between Indiana and Michigan. Both parents. Their parents graduated from Michigan and Indiana, and Bobby Knight living in Indianapolis.
Bowden got hit in the nose, and he's being tended to over on the DePaul sideline. Butler is on the free throw line. Singer committing the foul. Leading scorer today, Hill for DePaul with 16. His career high is 20, so falls a little short of that. Kleinschmidt with 12 are the two double-figure scorers today for DePaul. Reid, Churchwell, and Butler all with 10. And now Butler becomes the leading scorer with his 11th point. 3:06 remaining. And now 12. What about UCLA? The traditional power looks like they're going to get to be number one this week.
Well, the big thing out there is you got to win the conference, either Arizona, outside shot California. It'll either be Arizona or UCLA. Whoever wins that conference stays in their territory. That's a big thing. That's major.
Watch Bryant Bowden, number 5, inside against George Butler, and then a headbutt, inadvertently hit in the nose, and a few moments ago he left the game with an ice pack and heading for the dressing room. Under 3 minutes remaining. Will Macon gets the feed inside and is fouled, and he'll shoot 2. Georgetown has shot 28% today. DePaul 52%, and that's all she wrote.
You got to give credit to St. Louis for the DePaul win here. Joey kept working on when you're trapped, look up court, not back down, and that's what they worked on yesterday. So they're constantly looking up court under the traps, and they're feeding underneath. And it's just been a massacre underneath. They've all been chippy shots. Matter of fact, I'm surprised that DePaul's not shooting 75% from the field.
They've gotten a lot of good feeds inside and layups against that zone. You're right, the trap did not work today for Georgetown. Never really did, except for one little spurt midway through the first half. Butler. And a three-point attempt by Micoud is blocked by Marcus Singer. And now Church from outside. Church, Butler, Harrington, Spencer out there for Georgetown, and Parks with the layup. Belefia Parks, who broke the tie against UMass with a big three-point basket this Tuesday with 24 seconds to go, gets his first field goal of the game.
You're a good businessman. When your business isn't doing good, you board it up. You shut it down, do something else.
Butler drains the jumper.
Why I'm bringing this up, the pressure isn't working, Georgetown. Call it off and play hard man-to-man. Face it up. It's not working. When a game plan's not working, you call timeout and say, hey, it's not working against DePaul. They're too prepared for it.
And what's the other thing that's important about a winning team on the road?
Not to have any fear. Most teams have fear on the road. They might believe they don't, but they have fear on the road. Because true happiness in coaching is winning on the road.
Butler baseline. And it's tipped away. 10 different Blue Demons have scored in this game as they empty the benches with 1:40 remaining. Georgetown's previous losses were to Connecticut by 12, and the UConn is a very strong club, and 1-point losses to Maryland and Villanova at home. So this, by far, their worst outing and setback of the year, and you can credit Joey Meyer because the team did not suffer a letdown after the big win against UMass. They came back bigger than ever against Georgetown today.
And don't forget, Dick, in my voting this week for the Script Howard papers, I put Connecticut number 3.
Plug City. Plug City here.
Plug what? I don't know.
I just heard a plug.
I don't even know what papers Script Howard has. What do I care?
I'm gonna go read your rating. Here is Jacques missing outside, and they tie it up, and the possession arrow will favor DePaul. Well, Othella Harrington scored only 1 point today, and his previous career low was 5. So this is going to be a low water mark for the sophomore from Jackson, Mississippi. So much is expected from Harrington.
Now DePaul has to suck it up. John has to get to these guys and say, hey, come on now. First you pet them a little bit, then a day or two from now you whip them, but they're too good to take a beating like this from anybody.
Murray in the game for DePaul. Wild shot thrown up. While we have a moment, want to thank Marty Aronoff for his exemplary work here at the table. It's not easy for me to say that word, exemplary. Patton leaves the game. And it's a very happy DePaul bench as Jonathan Harris is in the ball game now. He is a walk-on. And everyone's going to go home happy on a balmy day in Chicago, 30 degrees. Huh?
You know, the walk-on came up to me before the game. He said, say hello to my mother. I said, where will you be? The water fountain? Where will you be? Here he is on the court. So I say hello to his mother.
And a foul.
I enjoyed today's game, Dick. I enjoyed working with you.
I enjoyed working with you, and you know what? You're going to get home fast. You're just going to go the 70 miles right back north to Milwaukee, aren't you?
No, I'm first going to see my daughter's twins. My daughter, Maureen, had twins. Elizabeth and Claire.
Congratulations.
And, yeah, I'm very, very, very pleased. And I'm happy for her and her husband, Chad Schultz. It's just nice.
Those are the things that count in life.
Well, big time count. Sports are just sports. Sports in my life has always been a coffee break. Just a coffee break. Get down and have a coffee.
You've had a few cups.
They're always warm, too.
Al, it was a pleasure working with you again, and I'll see you in March.
If you come back from the Winter Olympics, big guy.
I am coming back. Sean Brusek, another walk-on, a junior from Chicago, is into the game now for DePaul in the final minute of this game. Church with a running jumper, 74-51. It just didn't happen for the Hoyas today. They fell down early by 13. They had one spurt midway through the first half, and then a 13-0 burst by DePaul in the final minutes, in which John Thompson was ejected, turned to be the exclamation point of this game. And the Chevrolet players of the game are Don Reid from Georgetown and Kris Hill from DePaul. A check in the amount of $1,000 will be donated to each college's general scholarship fund to further assist qualified students in all chosen academic fields.
Chris Hill, don't go to bed tonight. Stay up all night. Remember this day.
16 points and 8 rebounds for Hill. From Oak Park, 76-51. Butler. Currie the rebound. So DePaul will go to 12-3 on the season, and Georgetown will drop to 10-4.
Oh,
and the lay-in is good. Sean Brusek, one of 2 walk-ons, in the lineup now for DePaul, and everybody goes home happy from the Chicago area. And you know what? You said at the beginning of this half, both teams are going to have 10 fouls, and lo and behold, Al, both teams have 10. Right again.
Pencil it in.
Pencil it in. Or pen it. You can use an ink. Butler off the rim on the 3, and the ball game is over. Big win for DePaul. Joey Meyer gets the big victory over Georgetown. They were on a roll. Their 4-game winning streak goes by the boards. And DePaul, which had won 9 in a row, looks like they're starting to get it rolling once again. And so for Al McGuire and Andrea Joyce, I'm Dick Stockton saying so long from the Rosemont Horizon. The final score, DePaul 78 and Georgetown 51. Coming up next, doubleheader action continues on CBS with the North Carolina Tar Heels taking on the Tigers of LSU. And then later today, it's Olympic Winterfest. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports, home of the NCAA Basketball Championship. So long, everybody.